The Season 12 Sea of Thieves update fundamentally changed Sea of Thieves at its core by introducing new weapons, new mechanics, new methods of transportation, and a plethora of new features that we're going to see unraveled in the near future, leading to what is, in my opinion, and possibly the biggest change the Sea of Thieves core mechanic has had since its release in 2018. And in addition to these well-known changes the Sea of Thieves core has undergone, there's also been what I'm calling secret buffs that have been rolled out under everyone's noses that you can currently find in Sea of Thieves, revitalizing some old favorites that we know and love and making them more viable in today's current climate. Because as we know, Rare has a long history with updating things to make sure nothing really gets left behind, aside from Arena. But for the most part, Rare often finds ways to make old stuff relevant again. Sometimes it works, sometimes it feels a bit repetitive and cheap, but overall, you can trust they'll be able to bring back some core features and make them new for the current generation, as you sort of have to do if you're running a live service game that's been going for well over half a decade. Now, some of them aren't well known, but what we're talking about in this video is going to be extremely noticeable once you've noticed it, and you're probably going to find yourself altering the way you play Sea of Thieves because of it. So you may notice that Rare released the new Horn of Fair Winds very recently, and this is a new tool that can be found in shrines or shipwrecks, and the latter is what we want to focus on. If you go looking for this Horn of Fair Winds in shipwrecks, you're going to notice that most of them you come across don't actually have the Horn of Fair Winds, unless you find a shipwreck that has a Reaper's Box in it. Now, if you don't know, a Reaper's Box shipwreck will almost always have a Horn of Fair Winds in it due to this new loot change. And that got me thinking and exploring. It turns out that currently, as the game stands, inside of these shipwrecks with the Reaper's Boxes in it, you have the highest variant of each individual loot pool within that shipwreck. So for example, you're always going to find a top-of-the-line King's Chest and many other top-line loot that's going to sell for at least 3,000 gold on average, and that's per piece too. Now alone, this is already better than defeating things like a Megalodon or a Kraken, and pretty much sits you right up there with extreme levels of loot that you can get from world events. Although there won't always be a lot in these shipwrecks, it's the quality of what you find in there that will always be head and shoulders above everything else in the game. And this doesn't just stop at the actual loot you'll find inside of the shipwreck. Inside the barrels too, you'll have a higher chance of finding more valuable items in there. Whether they be highly sought after fish or the new bone cooler items, these shipwrecks are a random treasure trove that are always something you're going to want to stop for. Why this just extends to the Reaper's version of these shipwrecks is not something I'm entirely sure of, and not all shipwrecks as a whole, but one thing I am sure of is that this mechanic is intentional and in place for a reason. What that reason is, though, is not something that we're entirely sure of right now. It could be simply explained in the form of Rare wanting to revamp something that the older players know and love, just to give it that extra sense of specialness, which has been done many times in the past. Or maybe even a possible teaser to something that we don't even know about yet, and what could be coming in either the near future or the far distant future. But it does raise the point, next time you are playing Sea of Thieves, go have a look at these Reaper's Box shipwrecks. You're gonna notice now that they are way better than they used to be, and there's always good stuff in there. Unless, of course, they've been raided by someone else before. But either way, let me know what you think down in the comment section. Do you think this means something, or is it just one of those features that Rare are doing to bring back some favorites that we know and love? With that being said, have a good day, night, evening, afternoon, or whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm going to catch you all in the next one. Goodbye for now.